guys, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Today we're going to go over the X Factor card. Here we have H2O Motors Company. We're asking for 15% equity into our company with a $1 million investment. Here what we'll talk about is the future of this investment in a car, but not just any car. Come join us in changing the game. Now, today what we'll talk about is our X Factor car with Guadalupe, Yazin, Cameron, and Shane. Now, right now what we have is a hydrographic speedometer with a navigation system. Just like speedometer in most cars where it's transparent on the windshield, now what we have is a navigation system. How many of you guys have gotten in trouble for being on your phone in a car? You know the law just passed where you can't be on your phone in a car. So now instead of just using your phone, you can actually navigate yourself by having the transparent navigation on the windshield where you can keep your eyes on the road and keep away from getting into traffic. Now, it also has the features of being able to anticipate stop signs, yields. It also gives you estimated time of arrival. Now, with this navigation system, many people have looked down at their phone or dropped their phone, and as they're reaching out for their phone, they're almost hitting a stop sign or pedestrian. Well, don't worry about that. The navigation system is on the windshield, and you won't have to worry about that. What we'll also talk about is the durability, the hydrogen fuel. The hydrogen fuel is patented. It's the only car that's ever been patented with hydrogen fuel. We also have the Hovertate system and the X Command system.
So now that we've talked about the navigation system, we're going to dive in deeper to one of our other very unique features that the X Factor car has to offer, which is the X Command system. And you might be questioning yourself, what exactly is the X Command system? It's essentially kind of like Siri, but on steroids. So many of us are kind of familiar with Siri. It's a built-in app in our phone. We can ask questions to, and when it can, it'll give us an answer to it. Well, the X Command system is a built-in command system into the car. Once you purchase the car, you have to activate it to where it can only act or respond to your voice only. And so what makes the X Command system different from other command systems? So we're in 2017, a lot of new cars have been coming out into the market that already have kind of like a built-in Siri. But these other command systems can only perform very basic tasks, such as changing a song, making a call, or making a text. Well, the X Command system goes above and beyond that. So not only does it do the basic tasks that you want it to do, it also does things like rolling down windows, turning on the AC, turning down the AC, and things of that sort that a normal command system would not be able to perform. So all of us here are college students, and oftentimes we've left a lecture or a study group and all of our hands are full, and we have our laptop in one hand, our books in the other, carrying our backpack, and we arrive at our car and we're like, okay, great, how am I going to get a hold of my keys? Well, our X Factor car comes with another unique feature. So it has a special key, and when the key is near the car knows this. And so once you're near that car, the X Command system is going to activate itself. So not only can you speak to the car once you're inside, but also outside. So when you're outside and all of your hands are full, you just tell it to open the door and it'll do so you can go in easily. And well, you might say, well, there's already cars that have been invented to where when you have your hands full, you kind of like kick your foot under it to open the trunk. Well, that's kind of inconvenient because if you have a lot of stuff, that's going to cause some imbalance and some other controversy. And our X command system is built to help prevent such things. And so not only are we trying to facilitate your everyday car ride or your everyday uses of the car, but we're also trying to keep our drivers safe. So every day 9 people are killed and more than 1,000 are injured because of distracted driving. So distracted driving involves visual distractions, manual distractions, and cognitive distractions. So visual involving your eyes, manual involving hands when your hands are off the steering wheel, and cognitive when your mind is somewhere else where instead of being focused on the road. So this X command system is here to try to prevent those injuries, and the X command system is a completely hands-free system to where it's going to allow you to have both hands on the road. Everything that it does is mainly just verbal, so you won't have to use your hands and will prevent this. And you may be saying how Gabriela was talking about the law has just come in. Well, we all know that a lot of people are still going to continue to use their phones, and so we're here to prevent those injuries and those accidents through our X command system. And now I'm going to hand it over to Shane, who is going to talk a bit more of our other unique features that the X Factor car has to offer.
So I'm going to talk about the fuel cell. One of the biggest things that we have to offer and has really changed the game for us is the hydrogen fuel cell. So how many of you drive? We're in Texas, everybody drive. How many of you use gas? Everybody raise their hand. How many of you had a gas shortage recently? Yeah, kind of. No, it's just that based out of fear. Well, we use water, which has really changed the game. And how we use water is from electrolysis. As you can see in our formula here, that we actually have from one of our scientists from Instructables.com. He goes under the name, I can't say his name, Hulu33, has shown us how to use electrolysis from a battery. So we use a normal car battery to put volts of electricity into the water to separate hydrogen and oxygen molecules. So we do that, and we use the hydrogen gas to combust the car engine, which is something that we have also developed specifically to use the hydrogen gas. A lot of you can use technically a regular car engine for this, but we do not recommend it. And also you have to not use our own patent fuel cell, which we have. And it is much safer because hydrogen can be very unsafe, as we found out in the 40s with blimps. What we have developed is way safer, using a titanium steel fuel cell, so it keeps that all a lot safer. Another thing that we ran into is, well, what if the water freezes in extreme temperatures? You know, they talk about that all the time. You know, and what we developed was a formula to use antifreeze in those situations. So in the winter, you can put antifreeze coolant into the fuel cell, and it will balance itself out, and you can use that. And we also were asked, well, what if it's in super hot extreme temperatures? We test that out in our prototype, and we found that if our titanium fuel cell, we have it where it'll stay cool enough. You can add the coolant in there, and it won't evaporate. Another thing that we have is that we only have one prototype right now, and we haven't done any of the crash testing because we have one prototype. So this is super basic, super new. We haven't had a lot of trials and task crash ratings. That's why we're asking for investment so we can build more. Because we also want to test what happens when we wreck the hydrogen gas. What happens? We can't do that right now. It is very durable, we believe, but we still can't test that. Another great aspect about this is hydrogen is the only thing that is combusting, and oxygen is the only thing escaping the engine. There are no emissions coming off of this car. Major reduction in greenhouse effects, which is huge. The ozone layer is getting hit because we drive all the time. We have cars everywhere, and it is something that we really truly believe to reduce, and everything in that. And that is it. I'm going to pass it on to Cameron.
Okay, so We go to the next one. Okay, so the next feature that I want to talk about is the hover tape system, which is a system that we came up with and we designed that would actually let the car hover about 2 feet off the ground. And that doesn't mean it's 2 feet off the ground, it's 2 feet from the highest point below the car, because there's sensors all around the bottom of the car. And so like if you're traveling on flat ground and there's something that's higher than that bottom level, it'll automatically adjust you higher to where you can, clear it. How this works is it's got 4 jets on the bottom that push out air that cause the car to hover. When you engage the system, you press a button in the inside of the car. It'll lift up, and then the wheels will go like this, so it's flat on the bottom. And it uses a hydraulic system for that. And how you can get the car to move forward and backward is the jets have a full range of motion. So if you want to go forward, they're angled down and back to where you would go forward. Also, it can go across any terrain, meaning it can go over water, which is really good. And also, like if you wanted to go out, say off-roading or anything like that, usually you wouldn't be able to do that with your car, obviously. And even though you're floating across, you're hovering across the ground. So all your rough terrain, your bumps, you're not really going to feel that because you're not actually on the ground as you would in like a normal truck. The braking system is kind of like a drone. When you hit the brake, the jets go from the angle where they're pointed back and they point forward to slow you down. And as you're slowing down, it's the angle is slowly changing to where eventually you're just floating. The durability. The car is made out of reinforced steel. The frame and everything. The front and the back actually have steel bumpers, which you usually wouldn't see on a car. Which it doesn't look. You can't tell that they're steel. They're not bulky. They fit with the design of the car, which is really nice. On the bottom, there's a skid plate that goes across the whole bottom of the car. That way, in case any rocks get thrown up, you're not damaging the underside of your car. The wheels are made out of reinforced titanium, so that way they're not going to get dents, scratches, scuffs on them. And also, there's rock panels on the side. So if you're going up like a steep incline that levels off really fast, you don't slam the sides of your car into that. So it'll prevent damage to the side of the car. And also, with that, there's so there's the skid plates on the side that will prevent that. And if you run over something, it might it might throw it up and hit that, but that'll prevent damage to the side of the car. And I'm gonna hand it off to y'all.
Okay, so in conclusion, the X Factor is a very well balanced car, and the unique things that I'm gonna revisit so you guys can invest with us is it's an affordable product that will save you money. It will decrease the greenhouse effect. A new improved hover tape system, extremely durable with steel bumpers and reinforced titanium wheels. So it's pretty safe and very durable, and it will facilitate your car rides more efficiently. So okay, and for the full and the voice system, the X command system is one of its really unique features. And to make one car, it costs 50K. It costs 10K to make, but it will sell for 50K per unit. And as Shane said, we have one prototype currently, but we would like to make more, and that's why we need to get the investment going. And we require $1 million. The return on investment is $15 of the equity. And basically, this car is not only a way to get rich, it's also an opportunity to build a more safe traveling experience as well as get work.
Any questions?
How are college students supposed to be able to pay for this?
We're actually not. It's everybody. Yeah, it's $50,000, but we're also competing with all kinds of different companies. That's what we're trying to do, is try to build more so we can actually lower their costs. We only have one prototype, so we need this $1 million so we can build, get more resources to it. Right now, our big market isn't to college kids, it's to everyday drivers, people that drive. I drive all the time. I would love this car. It's not gas mileage, it's water mileage, so it would be very efficient. Good question.
So like in the long run, basically, you would be actually saving more than what you paid for at the beginning, since it does not run on gas, it runs on water.
Okay, with that, what if we have a water shortage?
Water storage?
Water
Well, you can use salt water as well, which is 70% of the earth. There's water everywhere. I mean, there's rain, you can collect it. I mean, that's a big deal.
What is the like implementation on chip tender with how you can see?
It's actually proven that it doesn't, because now we have speedometers on the windshield. When someone's traveling, they actually have this, you can see the speed that you're going, like in Camaros, and now you have the navigation. So, in other words, it will tell you to go left or right, and that wouldn't prevent you from getting into car. That would keep you from getting into car wrecks and whatnot.
So I'm guessing you're gonna have to have like some kind of special license to drive this bad boy, because I don't know if they let people just drive hovercrafts around.
A lot of it does similar stuff to, like, I see what you're saying. It would. I mean, it's normal Class C license.
That's also why it has
Yeah.
it has tires as well. That way, if you're on the road,
Yeah, I mean,
you can.
Okay, so
It has
the
both,
hovercraft option just mainly
Right,
Yeah.
right. It switches back.
Okay.
Your choice.
How, with $1 million, how many of these are y'all planning on making and profiting for selling? You said 50,000 of these?
Well, it
Yeah.
only takes 10,000 to make. So with $1 million investment, we would have more than enough to make as many as we like. But this will be just a way for us to put ads out and have people actually look into us and get interested in buying into the car. Any more questions? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, good job.